Hi, I'm Ashura, and welcome to my playthrough of the first storyline in the main Hallowfall campaign, The Guiding Star. This is a story-focused playthrough, so I will be narrating all of the quests and character dialogue and talking a whole lot about the lore we learn as we go through this zone. As a quick side note, I have done this zone before, so this will not be a reaction video, but if you're interested in seeing my reactions to this zone and other alpha zones, you can find that on my Twitch along with the rest of the story content, because all of it is included there. I'll put the link in the description below, and let's get into it. So, this zone doesn't really give you a lot of context or background on who the Arathi are or where they come from to start. We don't get that until the later storylines, and even then it's mostly in optional dialogue and side stories. So I'm going to give you a bit of context to set us up for what's going on here. Just under 3,000-ish years ago, a man named Thoradin united the disparate human tribes under one banner known as the Empire of Arathi. At around the same time, the High Elves of Quel'Thalas grew embroiled in a conflict with the Trolls, whose land they had moved into and occupied. Seeking help in the war, they went to the humans and struck a deal with them. In exchange for teaching 100 humans in the way of arcane magic, the humans would help them win the war. And so they do. About 100 years later, the Empire of Arathi starts expanding its borders and founds the human kingdoms that we're familiar with today, such as Gilneas, Coltiris, etc., etc. Either before that or at around the same time, a group of the Arathi and the High Elves sail across the ocean to establish their own kingdom. I'm of the opinion that this happened at the same time as the Arathi who splintered off to make the other human kingdoms, because I think it just makes sense, but nothing at this point in time has been confirmed. And that other kingdom is where those humans and high elves have been for the last 2,700-ish odd years? Up until about 10 to 15 years ago is the time frame we're given, where an expedition from that Arathi Empire broke off to go to Kaz Algar in search of the Emperor's vision of the Hallowfall crystal, Beledar. And that's how we get here. We learn a little bit more about what's happened since then and how exactly they got here later on in the storyline, so I'm not going to cover too much of that. There's only one other thing that I want to add, a little bit of background lore that these NPCs over here have to say before we jump straight into the quests. We thought we were coming to this land for a glorious fight to secure the Emperor's vision. We were to bring back a victory for the Empire. The last thing I ever expected was to have to create a life here. Ask if she's an elf. Why would you... Ah, the ears. Legend says that when the Arathi first settled at our home, we were two peoples, humans and the High Elves who joined to help teach magic. They built the foundations of the Arathi Empire together and became one. We have remained united ever since. I am not an elf. I am an Arathi. So essentially, so much time has passed since then that the High Elves and the humans had enough children together that their offspring, I guess, became half-elves? Or it sort of depends on what the ratio of high elves was to humans, what degree elf they are. I found myself wondering repeatedly what their lifespans were like. Did they have more elf-like lifespans where they've lived hundreds of years, or more human-like lifespans? Which at this point I cannot give you the answer to. So let's get to it. Previously on War Within, Anduin is working with Adelgon, an earthen leader from our first zone, to meet the Arathi of Hallowfall and see if they will join forces against the Nerubians. We met with Anduin in the prior zone, came to Hallowfall, and saw his reaction to the crystal in the sky. They have since come to the town of Dunel's Kindness, where Faerin, an Arathi lamplighter, and General Steelstrike have just had an argument about whether retreat from the nerubians was correct. Greetings, outsider. I am General Steelstrike, in command of the army of Hallowfall. We would never turn away a blade or staff, but we've survived by following the rules of the Shadow Curfew. A careless soldier endangers everyone.
Greetings, friend.
We'll find out if the people of Hallowfall will stand with us as allies.
Be vigilant.
Many in Hallowfall will call you outsider. I would call you friend. I would also ask for your help. If you are no stranger to combat, desperate times forge strong friendships. General Steelstrike ordered the army to fall back from the Nerubian onslaught. In doing so, she abandoned a lamplighter and many troops to the darkness. I may not be able to save them on my own, but with your help I may succeed. If you're willing, ride with me or meet me there.
Despite everything,
I'm Faerin, lamplighter of Hallowfall. I have a relief cart prepped for the wall. Will you join me? Anduin. I'm an adventurer exploring Kaz Algar with my friend.
That crystal.
Star. We call it a star. Beledar, the Emperor's vision of holy light.
A vision of light. Deep under the ground.
We're the Hallowfall expedition of the Arathi Empire. We followed our Emperor's sacred vision across the sea to fight in Renalash, the final battle between light and dark. As we crossed the sea, we were caught in a storm. The fleet was enveloped in golden radiance. In a flash, our entire armada was transported down here. You've been down here fighting the nerubians ever since? I was just a child. The only child. We were marooned. The nerubians have never ceased their hostility. They crawl up from their kingdom seeking a fight and try to drag us down into the darkness. Steelstrike's army does well beneath Beledar's light. Those bugs are good at extinguishing hope. We lamplighters have trained to charge into the darkness. We save those who are lost and keep the dawn towers lit. Great Chiron, you're alive! Faerin, your courage acquits you well, young lamplighter. Outsider, the nerubians took us by surprise. The army went into retreat when the wall was breached. I've been keeping them away from this tower, but I could certainly use your help. Lamplighter will always accept an ally. Who are you, Chiron? I clicked the wrong option. I served the Empire for many years before coming to Hallowfall, as a warden in our military. When we first arrived in Hallowfall, I volunteered to lead a group in scouting the land. We found what areas were defensible, what was overrun by nerubians and the Kobus, and laid a foundation for the defense of Beledar. I found my calling late in life, bound to a star of prophecy in an unlikely land beneath the ground. And I would see all those that walk in the light of the sacred flame survive another day. Tell me about the lamplighters. It's not easy to face a darkness you know is dangerous. That's even more true in a cave. We lamplighters are the ones who brave the darkness to make sure Arathi dawn towers are lit and our people are safe. We frequently have strong disagreements with the military, but we're free to do what we believe we must. We're few in number, to be sure, and our willingness to face the darkness in spite of our fears is seen as unusual. But when a lamplighter arrives, the Arathi's hopes grow brighter. It's good to have new allies here. Together we will have much better chances of protecting this tower. The nerubians have overwhelmed us. If we're going to have any chance against them, we need to destroy the burrows they're using to come under the wall. If you can handle that, we will survey the field from the top of the wall and meet you there.
We are a light in the darkness.
One dawn tower has fallen, but a faint glimmer of hope remains with a smaller key flame atop the wall. The shattered remnants needed to sustain that light were taken by the nerubians. Gather the remnants from the nerubians you slay and help ignite a beacon of hope. The dawn tower won't be enough to hold them back. The nerubians have gotten braver. We must ignite the key flame on the wall. Its sacred flame will keep the nerubians at bay.
When shadow falls, lamplighters rise.
An empowered key flame will be a great help.
In my heart, there is fire.
With the light of the flame, I see hope that we will drive back the nerubians.
Be strong, my friend.
It's hard to see the destruction here, knowing how well the wall has served us for so long. Hard to think about the soldiers who died defending it, and those that will die because we don't have this defensive advantage.
We carry the flame into the unknown.
Excellent. If we don't have to worry about the nerubians stabbing us in the back, we can deal with those pouring through below. If we don't stem the tide of nerubians climbing up to us, nothing else will matter. Their numbers are just too great. We need to delay their onslaught to buy the people of Hallowfall time to prepare. The wall still serves as a very effective choke point. Do what you can to thin their numbers.
A lamplighter brings hope.
Good people died here today. A lot of them. Every Arathi soldier carries a tinderbox. It represents their devotion to the sacred flame. Many use it as a focus to bring forth the flame's light. In the dark places beyond the light of Beledar, the sacred flame brings hope. With the nerubian attack, we can't recover their bodies. So we must retrieve these symbols to venerate their sacrifice, then use this torch to burn their bodies. It's the best funeral we can offer. We Arathi are consecrated in the sacred flame. Do not leave my people on the field. I'd like to think that this wall, the Aegis wall, is sort of a reference to Thoradin's wall, which is the wall separating Hillsbrad from the Arathi Highlands. And in old lore, Thoradin, the guy I had said who basically formed the Arathor Empire, put it up literally as a wall to guard the Arathor Empire from Amani incursions. And so it feels so funny that the Arathi would, I guess, continue using that as like a structure in battle, shall we say, to defense against the nerubians. This is a good start. There are still many more nerubians coming from below, but we must turn our attention to those already inside Hallowfall.
We owe our service to those in need.
Have you recovered their tinderboxes? Every life deserves to be remembered in the sacred flame.
Don't give in to fear.
Thank you. You've helped to honor their sacrifice as well as we can. These were true Arathi, holding on to hope in the very heart of shadow. They seek the light of the sacred flame now. Come, their killers still live. It's critical, with so many nerubians pouring through the Aegis wall, that we defend our airships docked at Tanir's ascent. The nerubians have always outnumbered us, but our fleet allows us to concentrate our defenders where they are attacking, as well as allowing us to bombard them from the safety of the skies. If we lose our armada, our hopes fade dramatically. Meet us there when you can.
Don't.
Look! Those nerubians are fleeing. Not fleeing. Advancing. They mean to destroy our air docks.
Sometimes we must fight for what we believe in.
I'm glad to be back with Illyria. She blames herself for what happened to Dalaran, but not as much as she blames the nerubians. She wants to get vengeance, especially against their leaders. But I worry about the risks she might take to do so.
Never lose hope.
I will see you through the shadow.
I'm glad you're with us. Without our airships, we have little chance of holding back the nerubians in the long run. To say nothing of our dock workers who are safe below deck. Let's see to the defense.
We carry the flame into the unknown.
If we're going to hold the nerubians back, we have to deal with their siege weapons. Around Tanir's ascent, there are kegs of black powder to supply our ships for combat. Since the nerubians have got these ships on the ground, let's put that powder to work. Gather some barrels and take them down to the nerubian siege weapons.
In my heart, there is fire.
We've fought the nerubians since we arrived. Their attacks have not risen to this level in a long time. These airship docks are clearly a target, but do they have any others? Is there a larger goal? The nerubians carry shadecasters, with orders from their queen. We need to learn what we can of their plans and intentions, and recovering a few of those shadecasters is the best way we can do so. Chiron, the Dawn Tower isn't lit. If Beledar should shift... You're right. Your new friends can protect the people. We must ignite the sacred flame. The tendrils of shadow are sinking into this land. Utilize their fear to strike them down. Nerubians use these shadecasters to project orders and messages from their high-ranking leaders. Ashkahet will rise. Prove your worth. Earn your ascension.
A just cause is always worth fighting for.
It's amazing to see what the Arathi have been able to achieve in Hallowfall in their years here with no help from the outside. They'll make strong allies. And if we can protect the Dawnbreaker, I'm sure they'll be able to push back the nerubians. Oh, this is the ship that becomes the dungeon. I didn't even catch that.
Victory in the light.
Final war? Ascension? Not as many answers as questions, but we at least have some pieces of the puzzle.
Never lose hope.
Were you able to destroy their siege weapons?
Victory.
With those siege weapons destroyed, we're in much better shape. Faerin went ahead to light the Dawn Tower with Great Chiron. She asked that we meet them there.
Safe journey to you.
The Nerubians all seem to be taking orders from that siege lord south of here. If we can defeat her, that may turn the tide of this attack. Without a leader organizing the attack, the Arathi may be able to drive back the Nerubians, especially if Faerin is able to light this Dawn Tower she spoke of. But the longer we delay, the greater damage to the Arathi airships. Go quickly. Zirash has been responsible for countless Arathi deaths over the years.
As the causes he serves.
Good to see you, champion. I've been tracking this one since it crawled up out of its hole. We shall break the Arathi here. I look at these Arathi and see my son. I will slaughter every Nerubian in my path to keep them from harm.
Stormwind honors your service to the Alliance.
With the Nerubian leader defeated, we should be able to leave the defenses to the Arathi. You've saved many lives today.
Be vigilant.
I thought we agreed you'd stay in Dornigal. I heard stories of the Arathi. As king, I was curious.
You are always welcome in Stormwind.
Faerin went to light the Dawn Tower. She said it keeps the light of the sacred flame shining upon Hallowfall. Chiron is there as well. It's hard to imagine that any beacon could outshine their star Beledar, but I am eager to see this new expression of the light. Meet me by the Dawn Tower and we can see how the sacred flame of the Arathi helps to safeguard these long-lost cousins of mine.
Never lose hope. For the Alliance above all.
Faerin says these Dawn Towers, with the Lamplighter's aid, keep the Arathi ready for whatever darkness comes. Do you feel ready? Advanced real-time cutscene. The crystal changes. Just after Faerin and Great Chiron light the Dawn Tower, Beledar shifts from light to void, and Hallowfall darkens. Faerin explains to Anduin that this is normal. The Arathi know what to do until it changes back. Illyria hears whispers from Xalatath, telling her to look for Xalatath deeper in the darkness. There's a chill in the air. I will scout ahead. Be careful, Illyria. I just want to see the crystal! Completely blocked. Great Chiron says, Faerin, watch the outsiders. It's dangerous to travel alone. Faerin nods and salutes.
We cannot hide from evil.
Just in time. Beledar has fallen dark for a time, but now we have our own light to hold back the darkness.
If you are lost in darkness, we are here to help.
And that's the
Despite
first
everything,
storyline.
we
It's
find joy.
actually pretty short, but it sets us up for the Nerubian threat and introduces us to the Lamplighters and what exactly their role is, though much of this at this point is still pretty shrouded in mystery when it comes to what exactly is going on here, but fret not, we will learn more in due time. Next time, we're going to learn a bit more about what Beledar in the Void State means for us. We're going to learn more about the function of the Dawn Towers and how exactly they use them to fight the Void and what goes on at this moment. And we're gonna be able to understand a bit more about Arathi culture through it all. So thank you so much for joining me for the first storyline in the Hallowfall campaign, and I will see you next time for the next one. What do you mean? What do you mean, Radiant Chords? Tell me your secrets. Azurite Ball. Oh, my H is lopsided. No, that looks worse. Thank you, Marius. Oh, not the disconnect. I really scuffed it. Okay, we'll start on the U. Either before that or at around the same time. Press the wrong button. Teach the... You did this because you knew that I would abuse this power. And the High Elves of Quel'Thalas grew embroiled. Okay. I'll just worry about that later.